Good afternoon. This is Steve Depa with Bidwell Park Safe, Strong, and Prepared. And we're here today with two of our great city employees, I guess you would call them, and that's Richie Bamlet, and he's our urban forester, and Jesse Alexander, who is one of our chiefs of the Chico Fire Department, and we really appreciate him being here today. And what we're kind of talking about today is the work that Richie has contracted out and had the tree crews come in and do some safety and weight reduction and took out some hazardous trees here in Caper Acres. Caper Acres is probably one of our most popular attractions in the park. Hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of kids come every year with their families and play in the park. And Jesse also has some interesting introspect as to why this limb reduction is so important here in Chico. So Richie, you finished this project almost a week ahead of schedule. Basically, can you give us a summary of what you did?
Sure. So we did a full survey of all the mature trees in Caper Acres. There was 27 mature trees, and we did a full safety assessment to determine if the tree needs to be pruned or indeed if it needs to be removed. From that initial study, 17 we deemed to need some kind of pruning work, and another 4 needed to come down because they were just too unsafe. They'd reached a point in their life where they were starting to decline, and really pruning wasn't going to increase the safety of those trees, so we had to remove 4 of the trees. But 17 of the trees received some kind of pruning, and you mentioned the term end weight reduction, which is a technique that we use to shorten the length of a limb to ensure that it doesn't get too heavy at the end of the limb. So imagine if my arm is a limb and all the weight is usually at the end, so we want to bring it in.
So as I understand it, oftentimes what happens in the summer is the trees are soaking up as much moisture as they possibly can for hydration, and it almost happens too quickly. And then at that point, what happens?
No one fully understands what's happening with summer limb drop, which is the term that you're referencing. We think what happens is that, as you said, the tree draws in moisture, but what usually happens is the limbs drop when it's a hot, calm day. So what we think is that the tree isn't evaporating that moisture away quick enough, so the moisture builds up and up in the structure of that tree, and then with the additional heat, it's almost like everything lines up to create all this pressure in the limb. We've got heat, the hydraulic pressure of water with a 100-degree day at the end of the day, so it's been heating up through the day, and eventually it literally just pops and cracks open.
With that being in mind, what have you seen happen in Chico when we haven't had good, strong practices of end weight reduction in the park or other parts of Chico? What type of situations have you had to respond to?
Well, Chico Fire's had numerous either near misses or injuries, and even a fatality from limbs that have come down and struck individuals. So yes, those type of large limbs that have come down, they will definitely do damage to the human body.
So you mentioned earlier that you've already seen some limb drop on Peterson Drive, which Richie says is going to get some work in the next 2 weeks. So you guys are already spotting out.
Next few months.
Next few months we'll be doing some work there. So you've already spotted out that these are issues the fire department is aware of and taking some type of notice to the city.
Yeah, just going downtown and going through Lower Bidwell, you do see those, especially on that north end. Just trails some of them are even closed because of limbs that have fallen down.
Once again, the city's taken a proactive stance. Richie's done a heck of a job on helping maintain the thousands and thousands of trees we have in Chico. Jesse has his guys ready to react to situations that are just not predictable. Anything else you'd like to add to what's going on in Caper Acres?
So the work has now concluded. Originally we thought the park would be closed until May the 22nd. However, we did have 2 crews working in tandem in the park in Caper Acres, so they finished this morning. So the park is now open, and you can see we already have kids that have rushed in to play on all the structures in there. So I'm very happy that I'm confident that we should be good for at least another 5 years. We shouldn't see any limbs coming down in Caper Acres.
Well, that's great. We really appreciate your work. And one other thing we'll be talking about at some point with Richie is if you come by Caper Acres and you notice some large trees that have been taken for safety yet still standing, what are they going to do with those trees?
We're in talks to try and arrange for a wood carver to come and give those trees a second life. And we're hoping to create what we call mega lifts. So we want to create a new wood carving, which will become a new feature in Caper Acres for all the kids and moms and grandparents, everybody to come and enjoy. So watch this space.
So one of the things that we're trying to do is help fund some of these unfunded projects that are here in the park and here in the city. And this may be something we'll be doing a further introduction to. And when Richie talks about a megalift, he's talking about a carving that'll take these huge oak trunks and turn them into a work of art, something that'll really be another attraction for the city of Chico. I appreciate once again you supporting us here at Bidwell Park, safe, strong, and prepared. And we look forward to the goats coming to Chico and many more episodes of what's going on in Bidwell Park and how you can help. Thank you. This is Steve Depa with Bidwell Park, safe, strong, and prepared. And I want to thank you for all your support over the last several months, all our followers on Facebook, and let you know that the goats are coming back to Bidwell Park.
That's right, Steve.
And also to let you know there'll be some upcoming ways to help that support for the goats, as well as other needs that the park department currently has. Thank you once again. Steve Depa, Bidwell Park, safe, strong, and prepared.